Good afternoon, and how are you? Today I went out to try out my new convertible, top of the range, and one thing I've noticed, which I have not really sort of cast to memory, but rather it became a fleeting acknowledgement, and that is the cultural and educational spiritual discipline that Asians and Indian children seem to possess. Now, when I mean Asian, I mean obviously those from a Korean, Chinese, Japanese stock. And from when I mean Indian, I mean, Muslims, Hindus, and Sikhs. And I've noticed that the discipline that these children have, not only towards their parents, but towards society and their teachers, and indeed regarding public interaction. And it's quite unique, really, because when you begin to understand the complexity and the reason why Indians and Asian kids seem to have more value for education and value towards treating their parents with respect and the elderly, it's because the Asians and the Indians have a tight-knit community, culture, a spiritual understanding where they are not affected by political correctness. Political correctness has damaged family life. Political correctness and hardcore, irrational feminism has damaged the culture, the spiritual community of Western society. Hence why, interestingly enough, black people who have become westernized bring into this strange cocktail of structural mix. They too are affected by this postmodernism, political correctness. Black community have already had its own problem. Rap music, the rap music being the most devastating weapon and disease and virus which has wiped out the black community, is family values and its respect for women and teachers. So the black community already had a problem, but it also got hit with a nuclear, if you like, hydrogen bomb called political correctness, and thus it devastated the black family, the black community, even worse, leaving a big black hole. Thus, black kids became undisciplined, not valuing any education or any aspiration in their lives, rather than wanting to become gangster rappers or single mothers, and that was as ambitious as the black community got. White community was damaged and ravaged and devastated by political correctness, and therefore white people lost control over their kids, not only regards to discipline and sexual identity, but also regard to manners. And the white family is devastated by the concept of postmodernism, hardcore communism, and aggressive feminism. So therefore, you're looking at the white family, you're looking at a liberal and chaotic family which has no discipline, no order, where anything goes, anything, no matter how perverse. And therefore you can see this nonsense whether you're shopping, when you're interacting, and you don't see any manners in white kids or black kids. Now, of course, you do have, not when it comes to Asians, but when it comes to Indians, you do have them at the maybe during puberty and slightly beyond. They try to pretend that they're bad, to get the girls and blah blah blah. But it soon wear out. They become doctors, they become lawyers, accountants, teachers. So they begin to conform to cultural expectation, because their culture has not been attacked or ravaged by hardcore feminism or political correctness. Hence, whenever we see the attack on the family, interestingly enough, it's always the black family and the white family. I've never seen Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, Japanese, Chinese families who are affected by this Western Greek philosophy, where anything and everything goes, no matter how chaotic, no matter how immoral, no matter how perverse, no matter how it goes against nature. Bring it into the black family, bring it into the white family, and our families become like fertile ground in which you water your seed and it grows. This cesspool, this immorality, this filth. But of course, the Indian family, the Chinese family, the Asian family, there's order. They don't buy into this Western immorality. They don't buy into this nonsense. They can see the damage it's doing to black kids and to white kids. And while they're watching our genocide, they're building their own community. They're building their own culture. They still have a spiritual structure, and no one is going to damage that fraternity. No one. They're not stupid enough to let this liberal ideology, this liberal agenda to come into their community, which is why the Muslim community is strong, which is why the Sikh community is extraordinary, powerful, and influential. If you ever look at Diwali and when you have the Sikhs festivals, and you got all these big banks, coming there supporting it, etc. But what's interesting, whenever you have a fair attraction for white people or black people, or kids, families, you don't see big bankers there, you don't see big investors. Why? Because the black family and the white family is a joke. There's no structure, there's no order, it's not investable. However, if you want to make money, make investment. Today, in fact, I was looking at some investment and, looking at the APR returns and whether it's worth putting my money into certain banks or sort of having some investors invest it, and so you weigh things up, which is going to give me better return, for my money. And it's the same thing, and that is, you're not going to invest in something that has no foundation, something that is built on sand, that when the rain comes and storm, it gets washed away. You're not going to do that. And I'm afraid when it comes to the white family and the black family, there's no structure. It's the rain clouds of liberalism and the thunderbolt of political correctness came and it knocked down the very foundation of the black family and the white family. And hence, we are as a snow. If you watch the snow when it starts small and it rolls down the hill and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, leading to total disaster and catastrophe. And that is the white and black family. That's why our kids have no discipline. Our kids don't value education. Why should they? And they don't know who the hell they are. Why should they? They're told their identity is like water. You can do whatever you want with it. No Indian live life like that. No Asians. And please don't confuse Bangkok and Thailand with this sickness that we have in the West. In Bangkok and Thailand, they do it purely for economic purposes. I know what you're thinking, and I know you know I know what you're thinking. Right, in Bangkok and Thailand, they do it purely for economic purposes, not because they believe that this is what they are by nature. They do it for economic purposes. They realize it works. And British men, American men, they love that kind of thing. So in Thailand, they do it purely for economic purposes. So it's not big of a philosophical ideology that we have in the West. Hence why even in Bangkok and Thailand, family values and discipline is still the same. It's only in the West, America and Europe, where we see the ravages attack on family values. You won't see no white kids or black kids who have any discipline and love for their parents and respect for their parents and their teachers. And the reason being, we are hit by a thunderbolt of political correctness and hardcore feminism. Like a big hammer, it crashed against our families and leaving a big dent and a cesspool where kids can now answer back to their parents, have no respect for their teachers. It was interesting watching the Asian family and the Indian family, and you can see the respect they have for their elders. And you don't see that in the white community, no black community. I know some of you liberals, oh, I know some Indian family, I know a Chinese, you always get them. You find someone that breaks the rule and they think, oh yes, because one breaks the rule, it means you can do whatever you like. That's how filth got into the community. That's how filth got into the world. I know one person, I know one family. Hello? So one person that breaks the rule means now it becomes the majority. I don't think so somehow. Just because you know one Indian family or maybe one Chinese. As I said, as a rule. So the black family and the white family, we tend to lack discipline because we have no discipline in our household. Anything goes, anything. We brought into this hardcore feminist agenda. We brought into this liberal agenda. And as a result, we've lost touch and control with our families. It's a shame, really, because it will get worse.